It's red time, and red time is story time. Yesterday we talked about how I was going to read a story today that didn't have any pictures called Johnny and the Three Goats. I'm going to read it, and you guys get to use your imaginations as I read. Johnny and the Three Goats. What do you think this is going to be about? What kind of animal? Yeah, goats. And how many? 3. Do you think Johnny is a goat, or do you think Johnny is a human? Let's read and find out. Every morning, Johnny drove his 3 goats to the pasture, and every evening when the sun was going to bed, he brought them home. One morning, he set off early, driving goats before him and whistling as he trudged along. Just as he reached Mr. Smith's turnip field, what should he see but a broken board in the fence? The goats saw it too, and in they skipped and began running around and round, stopping now and then to nip off the tops of the tender young turnips. Picking up a stick, Johnny climbed through the fence and tried to drive the goats off, but never were there such provoking goats. Johnny ran and ran and ran till he could run no farther, and then he crawled through the hole in the fence and sat down beside the road and began to cry. Just then, who should come down the road but Fox. "Good morning, Johnny," he said. "What are you crying about?" "I'm crying because I can't get the goats out of the turnip field," said Johnny. "Oh, don't cry about that," said Fox. "I'll drive them out for you." So over the fence leaped Fox, and round the turnip field he ran after the goats. But no, they would not go out. The fox ran till he could run no more. Then he went over and sat down beside Johnny and began to cry. Down the road came Rabbit. "Good morning, Fox," he said. "What are you crying about?" "I'm crying because Johnny is crying," said Fox, "and Johnny is crying because he can't get his goats out of the turnip field." "Tut, tut," said Rabbit. "What a thing to cry about. Watch me. I'll soon drive them out." Then the rabbit hopped over the fence. Round and round the field he chased the goats, but they would not go near the hole in the fence. At last the rabbit was so tired he could not hop another hop. He too crawled through the fence and sat down beside the fox and began to cry. Just then a bee came buzzing along over the tops of the flowers. When she saw the rabbit, she said, "Good morning, Bunny. What are you crying about?" "I'm crying because Fox is crying," she said. "And the fox is crying because Johnny is crying, and Johnny is crying because he can't get the goats out of the turnip field." "Don't cry about that," said the bee. "I'll soon get them out for you." "You?" said the rabbit. "A little thing like you can drive goats out when neither Johnny nor the fox nor I could get them out?" He laughed at the very idea of such a thing. "Watch me," said the bee. Over the fence she flew, and buzz, she went right in the ear of the biggest goat. The goat shook his head and tried to brush off the bee, but the bee only flew to the other ear, and buzz she went, until the goat thought there must be some dreadful thing in the turnip field. So out through the hole in the fence he went and ran down the road to his pasture. The bee flew over to the second and third goats, and buzz, she went first in one ear and then in the other, until they were willing to follow the first through the fence and down the road to the pasture. "Thank you, little bee," said Johnny, and wiping away his tears, he hurried down the road to put the goats in the pasture. That's a good story. What was your favorite part of this folktale? What is Johnny's problem? Why was he crying? Yeah, the goats would not get out of the turnip field. Do you guys know what turnips are? They're flowers. And which animal helped Johnny finally solve his problem? Yeah, that bee. He buzzed in both of the ears until the goats left.